What's going on, everyone? I am very excited for this video today. So in this video, I will be sharing my testimony, my first encounter with God and Jesus, and how I became a Christian. So I guess I want to start off by saying that I wasn't raised a Christian. I was a Catholic on paper, but I never actually had any Christian values. I was baptized as a baby, but I didn't know what it means, so I never really lived by it. I wasn't actually born again. So I suppose I should start from the beginning, so you can see how much I've changed as a person. So ever since I was a little child, I was like the sweetest person ever, and all that lasted until grade 5, I think. Or no, it was grade 6 actually, grade 6. Grade 5 was when the entire change kind of happened in my head. So I was in elementary school, obviously. So I remember I would always look up to the grade 8s because our school went up to grade 8. So they were like the seniors in our school. In my mind, they had problems like taxes, finances, getting a license, relationships. So to me, they were like full-on adults and they knew everything about life. And in case anyone is watching this who's in like grade 5 or grade 6, whatever, it's not true. They're not. Grade 8s aren't that mature. Going back to the story, I always wanted to be as cool as these adults. And so in my mind, I would kind of picture myself, being all mature and hype and just being so popular, talking about all these money and relationships and all. But I never acted like it. I was still the sweet me to everybody else. But if we go to grade 6, I think that's when I actually changed. So I had a friend back then, a good friend, and she was the talkative one, I was the quiet one, but I was kind of like the leader, I guess, in the friendship, so she would always copy what I would do, and little did she know that I actually tried to copy what she would do, but oh no, she didn't realize. So as I tried to change and be popular and just as mature as these grade 8 adults that in my mind were, she kind of changed as well. Like, for example, I never swore. I mean, like, I did, but just not on purpose. But then when I was in grade 6, like, swearing, that was my language. Like, every second word had to be a cuss word. And to add on top of that, I actually urged my friends to swear as well. So I influenced them kind of to change as well, and they did, which I deeply regret nowadays. I feel so bad. And I know I'm smiling and everything, but deep down, it actually hurts me. Because I know, if I didn't influence them that much, they would probably be a completely different person today, and knowing that it hurts me. So I started cussing, and I also became kind of rude, I guess you can say, to my friends. I never actually meant to be mean, but I would be insensitive and kind of rude to them with my comments or things I said that just kind of hurt them emotionally sometimes. And I thought I was cool. I thought I was acting like a mature adult and I just knew everything about the world. The third thing I noticed was that I started hating people. I just started feeling this passionate hate for everyone around me, and soon it wasn't just the people around me I started to hate, but also myself. So as you can probably guess, I started falling into this pit of darkness of, just depression, loneliness. I had no sense of identity or purpose, and I just didn't know what to do in life, I didn't even want to be there. And so I was in a really dark spot in my life, and I didn't talk to anyone about it because I felt guilty because I knew that I brought this on myself. But now is where the good part actually comes into play. So I have a brother. I have two brothers actually, but one of them started reading the Bible. And he would come to me, he would talk to me about it, and I ignored him because I didn't want to hear about it. I thought it was all nonsense. If I'm being completely honest, I even made fun of him for believing what the Bible said, just so you know that I wasn't an angel. So sometimes he would come up to me and he'd tell me about all the great miracles and things God has done, and I just stare back at him like I had no intention of becoming a Christian. But as one should, he did not care what I thought. He kept on coming to me, he kept talking to me, he just persisted. He would show me these YouTube videos as well. I think it was from a guy named Jalen Wilson. I'll try to link his channel down below. He kept talking about God as well. And it wasn't as if I cared about what he said, but I found it interesting. So I started watching him as well. And fast forward to when I was 14, I was in grade 8 at the time. I saw one of his videos on my For You page on YouTube, and it was how God can heal you from your depression and sadness, suicidal thoughts, all that kind of stuff. When I saw this video, I told myself, okay, this is definitely not going to help you anyway, but you have nothing to lose, so just give it a try, just listen to it. So what I did is, since we don't have Wi-Fi at our house, I had a MP3 player, and so I downloaded this video onto my MP3 player so I could listen to the audio of it. So I went to bed that night, and I started crying just because I was at a very dark point in my life, and I usually just cried myself to sleep like almost every day. It was just a normal thing in my life at that time. So it was the perfect moment to listen to this video, and I did. I put in my earbuds and I turned on my MP3 player and listened to the audio of what Jalen had to say. Now this video is like over 30 minutes. It was, I don't know, it's in between 30 and 50 minutes, something like that. But I kid you not, by the end of it, I was bawling like never before. I cannot explain to you the amount of tears I cried that night. Like, it was just unreal. So after listening to the video, it's hard to explain, but I had this voice, not the voice, but this thought in my head, and I just knew it wasn't from me. So the thought was, pray. Like, I'm not joking, it was just pray. I had this sudden urge to just pray for the first time in my life, and it was almost like a command, like someone was commanding me to do it, and I know it wasn't me because I would never have thought of that before. That was such a bad explanation, but I'm sorry, but hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. I had no idea how to pray, so I just kind of put my hands together and closed my eyes, and under tears, like I was still crying, I just said, okay, God, if you're real, just take this heavy load off my shoulders. I need you. It wasn't those exact words, but it was something along those lines. And this is the moment where I actually encountered Jesus. So the second I finished my prayer, the moment I said amen, I think I said amen at least, everything changed. Everything. The first thing I realized was the sudden clarity I had in my mind. So when you're just like really sad and everything, and your mind just feels all fogged up, like it feels like you have a headache the entire time. That was gone. Like in an instant, like a millisecond, I just had this clarity in my mind. It was unreal. And also there was, when you're depressed, I guess, or even not just depressed, even if you just go through any type of hard day or situation and you feel like you have this really heavy load on your shoulders, that was gone as well. I just felt so light. all this heaviness was just gone, and it happened in an instant, like less than a second, the second I finished my prayer. But that's not even the best part. The best thing happened at the same time. It was all like right after I finished the prayer, but it was the thing I felt around me. So before, the atmosphere in my room was all gloomy and just sad, and I felt really alone. I have to like think on how I'm going to explain this because it's really difficult to explain in words because it's just so unreal and supernatural. What happened was the atmosphere, it just changed into something so positive and comforting. I felt something in my heart. I didn't feel alone anymore. And I also heard this kind of voice, I guess, in my head. And I know it wasn't my own, but it was real. Like, it was the realest thing I've ever felt in my entire life. And it just kept telling me, that I'm loved and that I'm not alone. Those are the two greatest things I felt in that moment. Like, just around me, I felt just a strong presence of love and compassion. And I knew it was God. Like, I knew it was Jesus there surrounding me because, like, it didn't tell me directly, like, okay, this is Jesus, I'm God who's right here with you, but it did tell me in my heart, kind of, like, it just planted that knowledge, I guess, in my heart that, okay, God is real and he's right here surrounding me. And that's why I have this sudden clarity in my head. I found this peace just like in my heart, this joy, and just this feeling of not being alone and actually being loved. And the hate that I held inside for so long and the anger, it just vanished. Now, I'm not saying that I was never angry after that experience, but during that moment, it definitely just was all gone. No language in this world has a word strong enough to kind of express what I felt at that moment. And so after all of this, I just kind of immediately thought, okay, God, you're real. I'm so sorry for everything, and just take my life, like, not as in like kill me, but my life is yours. Like, I give you my life. So I accepted Jesus, and that was when my entire life changed for the good. So it's been 2 years now. I'm 16, and I've grown a lot in my faith. So I started reading the Word, I didn't do that before. Like, I think it took me about a year to actually start reading the Bible, which is kind of crazy. But even after that great experience, there were moments when I was in a bad situation, I guess, either in my head or physically, whatever, and I would just, out of nowhere, like, suddenly I would just feel his presence or hear his voice when I needed it the most. So I just keep seeing these evidences that God is real, and that is my testimony, I guess, really. One of my greatest goals is to actually go out and be able to preach the gospel to other people. Going out in public, like face to face, talking and shouting the gospel, like, I don't have the courage for it yet. And I'm trying to build that because that is my great goal that I want to achieve one day. So right now I'm trying to make up for that through my YouTube channel, sharing my faith and my testimony with you guys so that maybe you guys encounter God one day or become Christian. And if you do, then let me know, please. I would love to hear. Just, you can DM me on Instagram or whatever. I do thank you wholeheartedly for watching. And if you have any questions about, God or about me, or if you have any experiences, then please write them down in the comments. I would love to read them and maybe answer some questions you might have. Besides that, I hope you guys have a great day. May lots of blessings come your way, and I love you guys all so much. Thank you for watching again.